such a Kelly lane. Like, I was like, that's... Mom and Dad are fighting.
What Kelly Clarkson revealed about Blake revealed. People online have been spinning this whole tangled story about Gwen Stefani, Kelly Clarkson, and Blake Shelton. And honestly, the way the rumors keep snowballing feels like watching a soap opera that nobody meant to write, but everyone somehow adds a chapter to. Anyway, it all starts with this idea that Kelly and Blake were basically work spouses on The Voice, the kind of duo who traded jokes like siblings but also leaned on each other during the messy seasons of life. And because of that, fans and gossip pages have decided she somehow had a front row seat to everything happening in Blake's world.
Sometimes it's nice to watch Mom and Dad fight.
What's the matter with you?
And once people online think someone has inside knowledge, oh boy, they run with it. They stitch together old interview clips, harmless anecdotes, little moments of eye contact on camera. Sometimes it's nice to watch Mom and Dad fight. What's the matter with you? And suddenly they've built a whole emotional universe. Nobody actually confirmed. In that universe, Kelly supposedly said some honest, maybe too honest things about Blake and Gwen's marriage. And the story goes that those comments hit Gwen right where she's most sensitive, the part of her that's always tried to keep her world polished and steady and under control. Gwen's entire public story, at least the way fans talk about it, has always looked intentional. The style, the poise, the way she seems to float instead of walk, even when her life is falling apart behind the scenes. Rumor has it that when she heard Kelly, Mitov shared opinions that didn't paint the fairy tale picture. She didn't just flinch. She snapped straight into this panicked heartbreak like someone had pulled the curtain back before she was ready. And because this is the internet, the story only grows more dramatic. People imagine Gwen demanding to know exactly what Blake told Kelly over the years, as if every casual vent session, every joke, every tired confession suddenly became evidence of betrayal. Now we're going head-to-head as coaches. How's this going to work? This is war. The narrative people push is that Kelly's opinions, again totally speculative, cut deeper, because they didn't come from tabloids, but from someone Blake trusted, someone he once turned to.
Now we're going head-to-head as coaches. How's this going to work?
This is war.
When everything in his world was falling apart. And from there, fans imagine Gwen shutting down, completely freezing Kelly out, refusing calls, maybe even telling Blake to draw some new hard lines. You know how it is. When the rumor mill gets going, suddenly there's talk of ultimatums, of Gwen supposedly saying her or me, of PR, teams jumping into the ring trying to spin things in a brighter direction. And somehow that spirals into this whole new layer of gossip where Gwen supposedly wants to pull Blake away from the Nashville circle altogether, the friends, the country icons, that whole ethos. He was so excited and I was so excited, but we were like this system where everyone knows everyone's business. People paint her as feeling like an outsider, like she stepped into a world that never fully welcomed her, and now she's tempted to retreat back into the safer, shinier bubble of Los Angeles where she can craft her own reflection without the peanut gallery chiming in. It's wild, really, how the internet can take a couple of friendly interviews, a few emotional moments, the natural awkwardness of real relationships, and spin it into a three-act tragedy about loyalty and love and insecurity. And the funny thing is, sometimes the theories sound almost poetic. Gwen is the Hollywood dreamer, trying to keep her world immaculate. Blake is the grounded country guy torn between two versions of home, and Kelly as the truth-teller who never sugarcoats anything. Fans take that trio and build entire narratives out of thin air where small jokes become confessions, short glances become heartbreak, and the quiet spaces in between become the most dramatic scene you walk through. It's all in good fun, but I think and somewhere in the middle of all this, you can't help imagining how tiring it must be for the real people involved. Waking up to headlines about feelings they never expressed and battles they never fought. Wondering how on earth a simple moment from years ago suddenly resurfaced as evidence. Not going to lie, I find myself thinking about how easy it is for celebrities to lose control of their own stories once the public decides they already know the truth. It's like the audience becomes the author and the people actually living the life get reduced to characters in someone else's fan fiction. But that's kind of why these rumor arcs catch fire. They tap into that universal human stuff we all understand. Jealousy, insecurity, loyalty, the fear that someone you love might be confiding in, and someone else a little too deeply. None of this has been confirmed, and most of it's probably stitched together from pure imagination. The emotions. When your girlfriend blocks you, this brings it to a whole new level. Baked into the narrative feel familiar. In a weird cinematic way, you can almost picture Gwen standing in a quiet room, wondering if she misread the whole situation. Kelly laughing something off, on camera without realizing. Fans would later twist it into a confession, Blake stuck in the middle wishing everyone would just breathe for a second. Somewhere around this point, as I'm thinking about how easily stories morph into something huge and echoing, it feels like the right moment to say, if this video brought you something useful, or just made your day a bit brighter, drop a like, subscribe, or share it. Forward. That simple gesture keeps the whole thing moving, and honestly, whether the rumors are just internet, storytelling, or smoke from some tiny spark we'll never fully see, the bigger takeaway is how deeply people connect to the emotional outlines, the fear of losing control, the vulnerability of being misunderstood, the ache of feeling replaced, the longing to be chosen without hesitation. It's the stuff that makes us. Never been with this dynamic, but it's so awesome. Me human. And maybe that's why people keep talking about Gwen and Kelly and Blake, not because they know the truth, but because the story lets them explore pieces of their own. So now I'm curious, have you ever found yourself caught between two worlds the way the internet imagines Blake is? Or felt that sting of someone misunderstanding your story because they only saw the polished outside and not the chaos underneath? And if you sit with this whole rumor-fueled saga long enough, you start realizing, looking towards my what, it's not really even about Gwen or Kelly or Blake as individuals anymore. It's about the way people project their own fears and memories onto celebrities, turning them into mirrors. Something about this particular trio hits a nerve with folks, maybe because Gwen has always seemed like the girl who reinvented herself 1,000 times, who glues her heart back together with glitter and lipstick and still manages to smile for the cameras. Then you've got Kelly, who's built her whole brand on honesty, on being the person who will say, last year at something and I met Zach. But everyone else is too scared to whisper, even if it makes things messy. And Blake, well, Blake is that guy who somehow makes people feel safe, like you could sit on a porch with him, drink something strong, talk about the heartbreak you swore you'd never admit to, and he'd just nod and understand without judging you. When the internet sticks those three energies into a triangle, it gets combustible real fast. People pick sides not because they know what happened. They don't, but because something in their own life resonates with the roles these celebrities supposedly play. Some folks see Gwen as the woman trying so hard to stay perfect that she forgets she's allowed to just be human. Others see Kelly as the friend who's honest to a fault, the one you love fiercely but sometimes wish would just keep a few thoughts to herself. And bless they're both his country, people as they are their music. He becomes the man who doesn't know how to balance the emotional load because he never learned how to say no without breaking someone's heart. So the rumor keeps growing because it's not really about the three of them, it's about all of us. And the wild part is once the narrative catches fire, everything starts looking like evidence, even things that were harmless before. A casual joke Kelly made 5 years ago, suddenly that becomes the secret clue nobody noticed. Blake looking a little tired in an interview. People decide it's symbolic. Gwen adjusting her hair while someone else is talking. Oh, that must mean she's annoyed, insecure, jealous, plotting her escape. Anything but the obvious reality that she's a human being, touching her own head. People forget how much they fill in the blanks. Someone smiles too long in the comments section, decides they're hiding resentment. Someone, oh, okay, I guess it's lost like that, 90, but it's starting to come back with these new artists. Glances sideways and suddenly there's a feud. It's like we're all detectives in a case that doesn't even exist, stitching together 1,000 disconnected threads until it looks like a tapestry. And once the story becomes juicy enough, nobody wants to let it go. You can practically feel the collective imagination erupting, writing entire emotional scenes. Since these celebrities never lived, they pictured Gwen pacing through some quiet hallway, in a mansion holding her phone, scrolling through whispers and speculation that gets sharper every minute. They imagine Kelly sitting somewhere in Nashville, maybe sipping coffee and clutching her phone too, wondering how she became the villain in a drama she never auditioned for. And Blake, the rumor mill always puts him in the middle, heavy-hearted, just trying to keep the peace between two worlds he never meant to collide, and the internet doesn't stop there. No, it takes each person's past and folds it into the story like some kind of emotional origami. Gwen went through a huge public breakup years ago. Everybody's old now. Yeah, we're in bed by 9, so the fans decide she must still be hyper-aware, hypersensitive, maybe even a little haunted. They say she's been burned before and now sees threats. Probably mean no harm at all. Kelly, on the other hand, survived her own heartbreak and rebuilt her life piece by piece, so people project a kind of raw honesty onto her, like she's the woman who can see through everything and call out anything. Meanwhile, Blake is framed as the guy who never quite understands why the women around him are upset until someone explains it to him like an instruction manual. It's all guesswork, but that doesn't stop anyone. The funniest part is how people can take a single moment, maybe something as small as Gwen shifting in her seat while Kelly is talking, and suddenly it's a whole thesis about emotional warfare. Or Kelly laughing a little too loudly at a Blake joke and the comment section explodes with, "See, there's